Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
All right, folks, what's going on? Alrighty then. We're here for another show. Welcome to all that's tuning in right now on their what do you call it? Radios in the car or wherever you listen to podcasts on your iPhone or smartphone. I'm glad that you guys are here. Please, first thing, I rarely say this, but please, if you are watching the YouTube, please subscribe to the show. Subscribe. And also follow me on iHeartRadio platform or wherever, again, you listen to podcasts. It'll be great to have you tune in to the show and you get notifications and all that. So to all those people that do tune in, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. I'm your host, Nova Phoenix, your host on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. And our first topic, let's get right to it, is, I hate to say it, man, Kanye. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Kanye. I really had a battle. Should I really talk about Kanye? Should I talk about him? Because that's what he wants. He wants people to talk about him. The more people talk about him, the more he feels that he's important, the more he feels that he's the center of attention, and it feeds his narcissism. But, I say that because, and I guess the reason why I recently said it, that was before the Jewish comments that he made. And I'm like, here we go. He just doesn't stop. He loves the fact that people respond to him the way that they do, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And, as they say, when it comes to getting attention, press, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as you're getting press or attention, that is, in today's age. I guess press is an old word, but yeah, Kanye. So, I say that because he's just made a number of comments. I'm not gonna really get into the detail of all. He made comments, of course, the White Lives Matter shirt, and then he did the one about Jewish, going DEFCON 3, whatever. He even messed that up on Twitter. And people talking about how come people are not talking about what he's talking. Twitter. You know how I feel about Twitter. You don't really try not to get pulled into whatever comments that are made on Twitter, because most of the time it's someone trolling or if it's a bot or something or other. And, so many comments are being made, but, what's her name did make a comment. What's her name? Like a lot. She's a comedian, and she was like, "Why aren't people talking about Kanye? Because his comments about Jewish people." Listen, everyone's making comments about Kanye West. Whether he's trivializing the Black Lives Matter slogan, or what if he's talking about Jewish people, or whatever crazy bullshit he's getting into himself. He's getting to it in a moment with himself. It's crazy. Sarah Silverman, that's what the comedian, and. The best thing that you can do is not pay attention to Kanye. And I had it every time that I slide, my tolerance level just starts to slide down. Not like I'm going to jump back on the Kanye bandwagon, but it just starts to slide back down. And I'm like, I guess, people going to be people. And then he makes some idiotic, stupid, ridiculously dumb comment. I'm like, dude, why can't you just be more like Jordan? Sell your goddamn sneakers and shut the fuck up. But he wants to make waves. And like I said, the best thing you can say is not pay attention to Kanye. Don't give him any attention. block him on goddamn social media if you got to. I mean, and that's all he's looking for. Kanye is good. He's famous. He has clout. He has money, and he feels he can say whatever he wants. And it's been proven that as soon as he does something or comes out with music, all of a sudden people come just gravitating right back to Kanye, and that's what he likes. That's what he feeds off of. And people got to realize, when you don't pay attention to him, he will chill the fuck out. And I got nothing to say about him. We are, some people, Jewish folks is like, well, oh my God, how come people aren't in the rage? Because we all, and I think a big part of the Jewish community and the black community and everybody else, they know he's doing this for the outrage. That's, like I said, that's what he's looking for. And people are trying not to pay attention to this dude. They're not trying to feed into him. They know Kanye is doing this just so he could get attention for the next stupid ass fucking sneaker that he got out, or fashion thing, and then he'll come back and he'll be like, yo, I apologize, I didn't take my medicine and that's why I was tripping. Are we gonna keep on doing the cycle? Anywho, yeah. So yeah, the next thing that I was watching, that I wasn't sure I was gonna talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. No voting, no Vucking. Everybody knows what that is, right? Everybody knows what that is. That's the campaign, the voting campaign video done by Trina and Saucy Santana. Yeah, I think it's trash. It's so trash. I saw it and I was like, my tendency when I see stupidness, is to not pay attention because there's more important things to worry about. But then I can't do that because as a person that speaks on a mic, and I guess a pseudo journalist or whatever like that, a person that shares his opinion on the mic, you can't ignore it. You got to talk about it because everybody's talking about it, and and you want to put your 2 cents in. And some people out there might listen to the show and be like, yo, what's Nova thing about this whole thing, right? So if people don't know what I feel about it, then it's like, it's people want to know. People want to know. For those that do listen to the show. So this is my thing. No vote, no vucking. The song that was created by Trina and Saucy Santana, getting people out to vote. Of course, we know what vucking means because you remove the V and put in an F, and basically to force people to go vote. Trash. Basura. It's trash, man. It's the same thing. It's the same campaign. The marketing campaign, like getting strippers to the poll. Everybody knows that. There was a video that came out and you had strippers on the pole. Get to the pole. Yeah. And then you had the twerking senator or whatever politician that she felt that it was a great idea to go ahead and twerk on the beach if we was. And I'm like, ain't nobody asked for all that. So you're just going to demean yourself and get to twerking. And you in a position that you in, you just gonna go and twerk your ass, right? Nah, son. So it's the same goddamn lowbrow, cheap theater without focusing on any policies. It is pandering or whoever. And I saw the communications people behind this. The communications, of course, is those same goddamn liberal know-it-all folks that feel like, hey, this is what black people want to see. Let's put together a video. And I'm sure they paid Trina. I'm sure they paid Saucy Santana. And yeah, it was all up in the face. And again, smart black people, come on. Smart black folk, come on. Smart anybody, come on. Why do they keep on doing the same? They keep on rehashing, repackaging, and putting out this stupid bullshit as if these are the colors and lights that black people like. It's somewhere we're just moths and we just get attracted to the light. Oh, look at the pretty lights. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll go vote. Not, come on, man. Come on. That is so. It is condescending and it's insulting. Like, we don't want to see that. And then you got Saucy Santana here, and I always say it's the same thing. And they throw out look, white supremacy loves gay men. I swear to you, I swear. White supremacy loves gay men. You know how I feel about that when you listen on the show. When it comes to straight black men, there's an insecurity. There is, they feel some type of way when you're in the same room with a strong black man. They love gay men. Because I've seen it. Nothing new here since way back in the day when you go and you work at any of these stores, you in any of these businesses, they are totally harmless, especially the more flaming you are, the better. They are harmless, and they will throw out and trot those folks, the gay community out there, and say, "Hey, go ahead, perform." Yes, and he'd be like, "Yo, Nova, you talking about the gay agenda?" Yes, the gay agenda. And you know why they're using it. And a lot of times you're not going to say it because they use intersectionality. And intersectionality where if you cannot critique something that's a part of a smaller sliver of the community, then all of a sudden you're anti-nothing. No, we have a right to say what we're going to say. And if you're being used as a tool to promote something and get something out there, as opposed to something that's a little bit more level-headed and sound, of course, people should say something about it. And the way they were doing this, pandering the black community as this if it's almost like, man, they just put a bucket of chicken out and some watermelon and be like, "Hey, black folks, we're going to sell watermelon and bucket of chicken. Isn't that what you really like?" Come on. And then when it comes to white supremacy, they love that. They love gay men. And I see it all the time because I pay attention. I watch movies and I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't see any strong black male characters. And that was even such a thing for Black Panther with T'Challa and what he represented for little black boys. That you don't see a lot of strong black male characters on television. So when you all of a sudden when you see something else that's promoted and played up in this theatrics that it is, you start thinking. You actually do start thinking. All right. And you're like, wait a second. That don't look too right, especially if it's done over and over and over and over again. It's like saying it's the same thing when in terms of when you're seeing black men as criminals, as rapists and all these things. When that imagery was pumped out back in the day, decades ago in Hollywood, of course, when you start seeing a pattern, the black community and other people going to be like, wait a second, why do you keep on trying to shove this image down people's throat? Are you trying to control the narration of what it means to be a black male in this society? Are you trying to say something? Are you trying to push the message? Are you trying to change how people view the perception of black males in American society? So when I see that, I'm like, really? It's a thought. So I'm going to bring it up. And you can't say I'm anti. Don't say, Nova's homophobic. It's nothing about that. I have nothing wrong with the gay community. But when they use as tools, that's when I want to say, wait a second. Like, I don't have any problems with Marcel Dixon in terms of in the political sphere. Marcel Dixon, he ran for South Carolina 6th Congressional District. He's a stand-up guy trying to bring up the case of reparations when he ran his campaign for that 6th Congressional District. He lost, but I big him up. He's gay. I have no problems with this, but because he put the policy ahead of who he was, his sexual identity, that's what was important when he spoke about policy, when he spoke about legislation, about things that are not being paid attention to in the black community. And he brought it up. One particular way where he brought it up is when he went to a Raphael Warnock. If you listened to my show last week, I spoke about Raphael Warnock, the senator. He got voted in and he has to thank black people in the state of Georgia, and now the elections are coming up, so he's running his campaign, and you have Marcel Dixon run up on him with his bullhorn in hand, and he was taping, he was recording on his smartphone because he wanted to show how the important issue of reparations is not going to be treated in the way that it should be treated, even with your black politicians. And he went up there and he blasted on his bullhorn, Raphael Warnock, when are you going to talk about reparations? What do you think about it? And he was asking straight up questions. And you know what was the response? Even the cool white liberal folks told Marcel Dixon to shut up. Yes, folks, they did. They told him to shut up, to move along and push him aside. What are you doing here? And I'm like, wow, look at this right here. And that was the point. Now, Marcel Dixon didn't think he was going to get far with it, but he just wanted to show people what a top-rated issue as far as reparations means to people like Raphael Warnock and to his constituency, to his voting bloc. Do they really care? Do Democrats really care about black people? Do they really care? And they're going to be like, well, I saw a tweet and it was like, well, that's not the right time to bring it up. So when is the right time? Because the case of reparations is not a new topic. We know HR 40. We know in Cobra, an organization that fully supports reparations for black Americans and Americans. It's been going on for decades. So when is it a right time to bring it up? Now is the right time. That's why I said don't go for any of that first black nothing. You have to go for people that's going to go for policy. You have to stand with people. You got to stand by those folks' side that want to talk about policy in regards to how black people are doing in this country and specific policies that affect black people negatively. Or do you want policies that affect black people positively? So it's the issues I'm talking about. Excuse me. Let me slow down for you guys. It's the issues that I'm talking about here. So, excuse me. My brother was talking about Marcel Dixon, and it was so surprising. And he confronted Raphael Warnock, Senator Raphael Warnock, and Warnock, he tried to play it up like he was listening, but he said a couple of words that we couldn't understand, and then he walked away. He was around his handlers, his liberal handlers, his white liberal handlers, and he said his piece and walked away. I'm like, is that how you're going to treat the issue of reparations to your black voters in the state of Georgia? There are a lot of things that black voters want their politicians to pay attention to and to put together a real constructive change in the form of legislation that's going to make their quality of life better. That's going to be police brutality. That's going to be the racial wealth gap. That's going to be reparations. That's going to be a lot of things specifically. Now, of course, we want to talk about jobs. Of course, we care about taxes. Of course, we care about raising our families and healthcare and all these things. But there are things that are specific to black people that need to be answered, that need to be handled with care. And if politicians really do care, they would handle it in the appropriate way, in the best way, especially if you're talking to your constituency directly in your state, in your city. These things mean something to black people. Qualified immunity means something to black people. Getting a job that is equal to their white counterparts is important to black people. Buying a home or trying to sell a home that won't be undersold for $200,000 less to their white counterpart is important to black people. What are you going to do that's going to fix that? The prison industrial complex is important to black people. Now, you want to get votes from black people? You have to answer these questions. You have to go out there once your black folks vote for you. You have to do what's necessary in the halls of Congress to bring up these issues, to put forth legislation, to author legislation, and to make sure you push it through for things to get signed. And if it doesn't, you did your damn best. Your folks will always vote for you because you care about black issues. And I'm talking directly to any black politician, any politician for that matter, but especially black politicians, because they want to play the old school R&B. You know what I mean? They want to play the Earth, Wind, and Fire. They want to have the cornbread, and they want to talk all this mess to their black constituents and they black voting bloc and all the Democrats across the rainbow, make it seem they're totally progressive. And all they're doing is they're playing the same fucking song and dance, and you actually get none. Black people won't get none. Now, I talk about these things. These things are very important. And I'm a founder of a company that I'm pushing along, and from every day that I face this, and I want to get out there, and I'm active, not so much active on IG as everybody knows, but I'm active on Twitter. I'm doing the necessary steps and all these things I care about as far as how this business is going to operate. But I'm also a black man in this country, and I do care. I care about my people in this country. I care about my people around the world. So when those issues come up, I'm going to talk about it. These things are important. I was just part of a Twitter space talking about the issue in Jackson, Mississippi, as far as the water problem. And you have Moses West from the Moses West Foundation and his AWG machine, atmospheric water generator that pulls water right out of the air. They finally got it on the ground in Jackson, Mississippi. It is up and running. The people in Jackson, Mississippi can get water. Now, it's not a huge machine unit. They have varying sizes, but we're just talking about the local politics. And I'll get into that a little later because I'm going to try to have a conversation with one of the folks on the ground that got this AWG machine going. There will be a press conference, I believe, tomorrow on Thursday. This show is going up soon. So everything is planned if everything goes according to plan, the press conference will be tomorrow, Thursday. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a meeting going with one of the folks on the ground that got this machine spitting out water for the folks. And I think it's going to be important to get into the local politics, the state politics, the federal politics, how people can get water, where they can get this water, and how we're going to go forward as far as getting clean water for Jackson, Mississippi, such and so forth. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, yeah, man, I don't know, man. And like I said, I'm not talking about vote for the other dude. What's the other dude? Herschel Walker, that bird brain. Now I'm not even talking about probably not vote. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm a voting guy. So probably because if Warnock ain't telling you what you need to hear, and Herschel Walker, that's all he's in a whole nother universe here. And I'm not saying for you to vote for him, but what I am saying is use your vote accordingly, even if you don't vote. But what I will say is you should find someone, get together with people in your neighborhood, and I'm talking about all you Georgians. Start a PAC, start a nonprofit. Find different people that would like to run as senator or as council member, whatever. They go work their way up to senator, and then groom them in a way where they will deal with the issues head on that that Raphael will not deal with. And these are the people that you want representing you. You don't want people that are handpicked for you. Say, hey, this guy is going to come along. He's black. Black people vote for him. No, they're not going to do that anymore. It's not about color. Get someone that's in your community that supports issues for Georgians in general, but will not back down or walk away when it comes to dealing with black issues that needs that attention. Get someone and groom someone so the next cycle comes along, you get them on the ballot. You get them in there and y'all get behind him or her. And once you get behind him or her, make sure that they're not in there alone when they have these meetings in your buildings, local buildings, in your I can't remember the goddamn name. Oh man. Where you hold your meetings for local politics. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the building. But you know what I'm talking about, folks. Make sure you support them. Make sure you have that open line of your communications on social media, that these things are recorded, that your politician is going to talk to you once they get out of these meetings to let them know and give you updates, and make sure they stay on code. Yeah, anyway, next one. So on October 2nd in San Antonio, Texas, you had an officer by the name of James Brennan, shot and wounded, almost killed a 17-year-old boy named Eric Cantu while he was in his car. This was all captured on chest cam. This was not captured by another person, someone on top of a building, someone from inside a store or across the street or in another car from across the street. This was all captured on chest cam. So this gentleman, San Antonio, Texas officer James Brennan, was called by I think, sorry if I don't have this correct, by an area in a mall area, right, where the cars are, the parking lot. A call he was called in on an unrelated situation. So supposedly what happens is the chest cam starts, so he walks up on a car and then he pulls it open. Sees a young kid, 17, of course, young adult, eating a hamburger. This is a white kid. He looked like a white kid eating a hamburger. The kid throws his hand on the gear shift, puts it into reverse, and he's trying to get away. And it wasn't like a peel trying to peel away. Look at the video. All you got to do is YouTube it. All right, just put YouTube San Antonio, Texas officer James Bernard and the kids Eric Cantu, and the kid throws it into drive and he's pulling off. But the thing is, as soon as the door is open, the kid realizes is a cop. He's looking up and he's like, oh man, I don't want to get caught. He starts to drive away. The cop did say stop. I believe he said some words, and then immediately, not like he waited, immediately as he's saying these words, or right after his last words, he lets off his shot. He discharges his weapon. Now, good thing he didn't kill the kid, but the way he did it, I thought he did. This was all captured on chest cam. Now, this gentleman was suspended, and then later quickly he was fired after seeing this video, because from the video there was no reason why this particular kid was stopped. Allegedly, he says he chased this kid the day before and lost him, and found him again when he was trying to respond to that unrelated call, whatever that situation was. So he fired on this kid. And what gets me, yeah, he fired on this kid. That's totally bad, right? Terrible. As we all know how it goes with some of these rogue cops, right? But the wild thing is that he did this. This cop let off shots. He did this with the chest cam on. And how many videos have you seen where the chest cam is way on and the fuckery happens? Whether there's whatever the situation is, where the person ends up critically wounded or dead. And it gets me thinking, I'm like, wait a second, you actually did this with your chest cam on. You didn't try to turn it off. You didn't try to in any way manipulate the video or something to turn it away. Like, you getting caught doing this effery did not make a difference. Now, I know that whole talk before, it was like, oh, we got to have chest cams. We got to be able to see what these cops are doing. This should be able to stop the cops from doing anything as with police brutality. No, that doesn't stop anything. The chest cam has not stopped anything, because you see this video coming out of these cops brazenly killing people or attempting to kill people, and the video is rolling. Now, what kind of culture, police culture, do you have where a cop can make a decision, not just try to get away with it halfway, quarter of the way, try to manipulate it, try to be slick with the words and say, hey, to try to get out because he knows the video cameras and he don't want to get, no. They just go off and just lick off shots in the most egregious, violating way. Now, what type of police culture do you have where a cop will still make that decision to kill someone and feel like, what is going on? What type of support is this police officer getting in the precinct? That's not the act of one man. That's not the act of two men or three men. That to me is an act of a conspiracy where the whole department is at fault. Understand? So how do you fix that? None of these cops that do these things are scared. They're not scared at all. They do it anyway. They don't try to cover it up. Because I'm saying, if I was a dirty cop and I know I'm walking out with a chest cam on, I'm like, all right, let me, I know I'm about to do something crazy. So I'm going to try to get away with it, right? No, it's like out in the open. Wasn't this supposed to deter? Wasn't this supposed to slow down or stop? This doesn't do that. So, I mean, it is out of this world for me where you can have police officers still do what they do. And this video comes out. Amazing. So what we're dealing with is not a couple of bad apples. We're dealing with a culture. We're dealing with a system that encourages officers to do what they do because don't worry about it. We got you. We'll get you out of this. That's why people say defund the police. Not in a way to take away police, but you've got to dismantle it and rebuild it. That's what they're talking about. Because if you have cops out here that are just doing what they want, having this in some way an idea, in some small iota of an idea that they can do what they do and not risk any repercussions, that is straight madness. So this cop is fired. I'm sure there's going to be criminal charges. He was only a police officer for, I think, under a year or a year. He hasn't even been on the force that long. And if that's the case, what happens to psychological profiling? Like, are these people fit to be police officers in the first place? Y'all just bringing on people, doing a little 2-week training and throwing these people out into the streets. The dude, a year. Like, so we're not going to make sure that this guy is not some sort of insane, Jeffrey Dahmer type that gets off on the fact that he can shoot people and nothing happened to him. I mean, I just want to know. And on top of that, I saw a video on TikTok where there's even gangs in the LA police precincts, all types of the executioners and the I think it was called the Wild Out Boys or something like that. That's not 1 or 2 or 3 apples. There was like 7, 8, 9 gangs. This journalist did an investigative report trying to find gangs or identifying gangs in police precincts. That's not 1 or 2 bad apples. That's an entire system that has failed. So I'm tired of hearing all that business like, there's just some bad cops. No, man, we're not talking about 1 or 2. An entire precinct. From top to bottom that we got this going on. So it's not even Crips and Bloods. There's even gangs that you gotta, I'm sure, I don't know if Crips and Bloods actually recognize or know of any gangs coming out of these precincts, but for real, it's like you dealing with gangs on the streets in LA. Now you dealing with gangs in the police precincts. Yo, man, come on. I don't understand why that's not even blasted on CNN. Well, of course I know why, but I'm saying that should be a big story. Yeah, anyway, next story is here. New York, man. I saw some things going on in New York. New York is under a state of emergency. You have Mayor Adams actually did a press conference talking about they are getting an influx of immigrants coming into this country. About 15,000 has been bused from Texas. And I'm pretty sure that there was a chatter going on that busing immigrants across state lines was a violation of human rights. It was almost under the term of human trafficking. So I don't know exactly how far that's gone with Governor DeSantis out of Florida and Governor Abbott, I think Greg Abbott out of Texas. But, New York is under a state of emergency, and Mayor Eric Adams is talking about it. And he was pretty much trying to get all the city agencies together to help in the influx of the 15,000 immigrants. At first, they were being housed in the Bronx, and it wasn't a good idea. So now they currently have them on Randall's Island. And I understand, because New York is already dealing with an unimaginable amount of problems with housing. And I think if I'm reading this correctly, they have about 61,000 people that's already in the shelter system. So now all of a sudden you have just 15,000 people that's pouring in that doesn't speak the language. The mayor is actually asking all the city agencies to really get on their job and coordinate in ways where they can figure out what they're going to do with the people as far as housing, medical attention, jobs, and trying to not just going through the same process that may take long typically, but now how in ways to expedite it to get these people quote unquote working. I don't know what I don't know what skills these folks have no idea, but it is a serious problem. Actually, here, if I can read this, the city agencies, let me see here. Let me go to Instagram. Resume my journey here. Let me see online. It's funny, Instagram, people don't really use Instagram on their computers. It's all mobile. So if I go to, my man Moses West is on here, my profile. Let me see. Explore NYC Mayor. There it goes. Let me see here. All right, so he has the emergency executive order number 224. He's asking the New York City Emergency Management to coordinate with the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications, also known as the Office of Technology and Innovation, the Department of Design and Construction, of course, for temporary housing for these immigrants, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and other agencies as appropriate to establish and operate temporary humanitarian relief centers to be known as Humanitarian Emergency Response and Relief Centers, HERRC. So he's asking all of these city agencies to do what's necessary to handle the influx of immigrants that are temporarily staying in Randall's Island. Now, that's a big task, and they can't continue, because he said if it continues the way it is, by what the mayor is saying, there's about 5 or 6 buses coming in per day at a Port Authority, and they just can't really deal with the amount of people that's coming in. And he said if it continues like this, by the end of the year, it's going to reach 100,000 people. So they're trying to figure out ways, not just in terms of getting all these city agencies to coordinate together and handle this under the emergency status as he's putting in, but he's also asking for assistance on the state level and the federal level to try to figure out how they can work together to handle this immigration problem. And also possibly, to keep it real, to bus some of these immigrants to other neighboring states, because New York can't handle it himself. And I totally understand what he means by that. I totally understand, because I wouldn't know what do you deal with 15,000 people that just temporarily, walking around trying to figure out what they're going to do from day to day. You can't keep people there. You have to figure out what's going to happen, to the point where so far they have 44 hotels that have been turned into shelters. They have 5,500 kids enrolled in schools, and like various other programs that they're trying to do to assist these asylum seekers. So of course, this is going to be a multi-pronged approach to solve this issue. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is my thing. New York is going to figure out a way how to deal with this. But this is my thing as far as the immigration situation. And a lot of people are not asking the right questions when it comes to immigration. A lot of people are only focusing on the immigrants themselves. You got the Republicans on one side, they're saying, oh my God, as far as what Trump is saying, these people are rapists, they're murderers, they're robbers, they don't offer anything to the economy, they are total waste, throw them back over the border, right? That's one side. And then you have the other side as far as the Democrats in their typical talking speeches, like sanctuary cities, when you want to help people. New York is, and of course, all the other sanctuary cities. But in terms of New York, we had Ellis Island, and we taking immigrants. New York City is populated by mostly immigrants that have been coming here for 100 years. Right. Typical talking points as far as how the Democrats are handling the immigration problem. But we're not asking the right questions. We keep on talking about the politics and the strain and the stress of the people that are coming in and how to deal with them, where they're going to go. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what jobs they're going to do. They're bringing down the economy and all these other things. The right question you have to ask is the why. What are you talking about, Nova? Why are these people coming over here into this country in droves? Ask the right question. Why do you have a lot of people from South America every day, every month, every year risking their lives to come over here to America? And I don't want to hear anything about American exceptionalism. They want democracy. They don't have that back home. No, that's that same talking point rhetoric, bullshit, propaganda words is being shared around. The question is, why are these people traveling miles, risking to be human trafficked, stuffed into hot vans, jumping over fences, digging tunnels, risking to be being raped, especially when it comes to the women and probably even the younger ladies, taking makeshift rudimentary boats and piecing them together and having to battle and bear the wild elements of the ocean? to the point where you have people drowning, and that is how they are going out, taking their last breaths. Even during the storm that I saw watching Hurricane Ian, when I was watching a video in Florida and the waters was crazy choppy and the wind was blowing and it was serious, you had people, and it was a running gag with the guy that was filming. You had Cubans in a boat. He was actually filming Cubans in a boat making it to shore. Do you understand what I'm saying? What is going on in these people's countries that you would risk your life during a hurricane and saying, fuck it. Either I'm making to an American soil or I'm dying right here. This is going to be my watery grave. Why are these people coming here? Everybody, the Republicans down at the border, these border states are saying, the propaganda was going on. Oh my God, the caravans, they're coming as a whore. They're coming. They're just going to raid the border and they're going to jump it over. You saw those imageries, all those people, the crowd that was coming over. They're coming. What is going on in these people's countries that they are risking their lives to come to a land? Well, I can't even say that don't speak English, because literally they can blend into the country's Spanish-speaking regions, like especially New York, go to the Bronx, and they're fine. It's just the legal aspect of how they're going to get by from one week to the next. So I can't say, but some of them may be going to states where there's, but they can make it out. There's enough Spanish-speaking neighborhoods in the southern these border states and other states where they can get by. But to risk their lives. And I always will go back to the Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. I encourage people, and I've spoke about it on the show before, I encourage people to read that book, because a lot of Americans do not understand how America's foreign policy works and what they do to other neighboring countries in order to do what? Control the region. United States, and I'm saying as a citizen, I'm gonna keep it real. And I want Republicans to be listening to me here. I want them staunch, red-blooded Republicans and Democrats. Listen up. Listen up. America's foreign policy that puts a stranglehold on the economic health of South American countries, and y'all gotta be real. Putting the stranglehold on some of these South American countries. In Confessions of an Economic Hitman, it breaks down in a couple of different ways. They threaten the current leaders. Give me your resources. We can make a deal. If you choose not to cut this deal with me, we're going to send in what they call the jackals. And all of a sudden you have leaders that disappear. And those leaders either can sign that dotted line or they may not. And they may not, there can be a coup, a forced coup where they end up dead or they're ejected from their country, or they go right along with it. Don't worry, they'll be all right. They'll get paid. They'll get laced, but the rest of the people will starve. They'll insert puppet presidents. All right, listen, this guy, he's not listening. We're going to, again, a coup where they insert their own puppet presidents. And they will go by America's agenda. Or, lastly, they will impose sanctions on a country if they can't get what they want, if they're unsuccessful with the coup. I think Venezuela has sanctions right now. Zimbabwe has sanctions on the country itself. And they haven't done anything to America. America was like, throw sanctions on Zimbabwe. I don't even know why. Robert Mugabe wasn't trying to hear it in this last few years. He was the president of Zimbabwe. He was like, screw that, man. We got to do something. And that was a big story. You could look that up yourself. But then, he was long gone. The sanctions still on Zimbabwe. Their currency is dirt. It's like $1 million. I forgot what currency they use. Is $1 million to $1 American dollar. It's shit. They don't have a financial system. So economic sanctions. that puts the pressure on these countries. And you know what's going to happen? Those resources will eventually go to America. They'll take the oil, they'll take the cocoa, they'll take whatever natural resources that country may have. So you're going to have two outcomes here. When you have an economically, I can't speak today, economically depressed country, you either going to have people that are going to stay and fight each other because they don't understand what's going on as far as American foreign policy, or they may know and don't care. They're just trying to survive. So you have a literal Walking Dead situation happening where people are fighting each other in rival gangs. Or what's the other outcome? People flee. They're not standing around. They're not waiting and dying over starvation. They're not going to do that. They're just not going to twiddle their thumbs and see their president is going to do something about the current conditions of their country. No, they are going to make hard choices, and men are going to separate from their families, or they're going to take their families with them. The little money that they have, they're going to pay someone to bring them over into America for what? Opportunity, money. So when immigrants come to this country and they finally get a job, what do? They send money back home. So I want people to understand. I want red-blooded Republicans. Fuck yeah, America. Understand your country's foreign policy and how they put the squeeze on southern countries. And eventually, when America is getting those resources, what happens? The people have to work with crumbs. And that's why you have an influx of immigrants coming into the country. They don't care about America. Because I've spoken to immigrants. They be like, as soon as I'm done, I'm going back home. They don't care. They're just trying to live and survive. And America, one part of America doesn't care. So when you have politicians talking about immigrants, all they do, and that's one of the tricks, they super focus on one particular situation, and they purposely do not take a step back to look at the entire picture. They don't want you to look at the entire picture because that's the game. That's the hustle. Because as soon as they step back and look at the entire picture, then, they're friends, because that's, again, when they fight over immigrants, that's the story. That's the surface story. But they don't want to show you what's really going back when you step back on why these people are coming in, because you messing up the game. Now I'm saying that, well, you exposing the game, right? You letting people know, yeah, I'm exposing the game. But for those that don't like immigrants, you red-blooded Republicans, fuck yeah, I love my guns. You know what I'm talking about? And you say, those goddamn immigrants, people are not coming over here. Stop listening to Fox News. Stop listening to these right wingers. What's happening is these people are coming over for money. And because America is doing what they're doing as far as their foreign policy, dealing with their leaders, and they literally have nothing, they're coming over here. As if you confront your politician, stop listening to them and confront your politician and say, listen, we know what the fuck is going on over there. You're putting the pressure. The squeeze is so much that they're running over here. Y'all got to loosen up. Because America is on a trip where they literally squeezing blood out of a rock. That's how bad hyper-capitalism, that's how bad the greed is. They are going so overboard, they're squeezing the literal life out of these countries, and people got no choice. If you change the policy of what's happening into these other countries and give people some fucking breathing room to have a life in their countries, because a lot of the countries are better than how it's set up over here in America. Even a lot of Americans that are tired of the economic system that's happening here is running over to South America to catch a break. And they're like, oh my God, it's paradise. They do have paradise. They don't want to come over here. I guarantee you, when you confront your politician about what's going on in these other southern countries and they relax a bit and and the people can live a bit, and you shift around your foreign policy, your tactics, I guarantee you it will slowly dissipate. It will happen in reverse. People will go back home. These people from South American countries like Venezuela or, Brazil or El Salvador. wherever all of Mexico, all these folks that's coming, it would actually go in reverse. But America's not doing that because America is treating these people like they're just cranking them like they're squeezing all the life out of putting them in a lifeless chokehold. That's why they're coming over here. But they don't want to ask that. You don't want to get into that subject. These politicians don't want to get in there because you messed up. Oh, whoa, wait a second. So stop listening to what these channels are telling you and do the research. And I know a lot of you Republicans, y'all know. But you got to be brave enough to think for yourself independently and be like, okay, let me really see what's going on in these guns. Why are they running over here? Once you ask the why and you keep on asking the why, then you will get to the root cause of the problem. Because as long as that continues, then you're going to have as what I said, the masses continue to run over here. So I'm actually doing y'all a favor if you think about it. When you really get down to brass tacks and you're having an issue, oh my God, they're coming over here. When America loosens up and chills the fuck out with their greed, it will not only slow down people coming into the country, it will go in reverse. Anyway. But y'all don't hear me though. The next thing is going on. Biden, good old Biden. I'm talking a lot of politics, man. A lot of things going on past week in politics, and I'm paying attention. I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm reading up. It's another thing. So, and we'll get into other things other than this, other than politics, and just lighten the load. But got one more thing. So Biden has made a public statement that he's going to pardon people on simple possession of marijuana offenses under federal law. So he's going to also review the drug that's marked as a Schedule 1, and as marijuana is looked at under the Schedule 1, it also is in the same boat as heroin and fentanyl. I will never understand fentanyl. Quick segue into fentanyl. I will never understand it. I was watching TikTok. This guy was a 20-year addict, and he was literally telling folks fentanyl is a death drug. It doesn't give you a high. It doesn't give you some, even in a small bit of way. It just goes straight into death. And his idea, I forgot, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, but he basically was saying, of course, he got into his conspiracy theory thing. I always dial it back. I always listen to them and hearing what they got to say. But really, I try to think about, myself, using critical thinking. And I'm like, fentanyl doesn't make sense. It doesn't give you high. It's not like it's crack cocaine where you smoke crack and then you get into your high. It's not heroin and you go into La La Land and you got the ill heroin lean. You know what I mean? It's not like any other drug that takes you there into this euphoria, and then you come down from the high. All of a sudden you're getting withdrawals and you got to get your next hit. That's not how fentanyl works. Fentanyl works. It could be like a quarter of a rice grain, a prick, just a little dusting, literally a little dusting. It can kill you. So what is the purpose of fentanyl getting out there? Because as a drug dealer, and I spoke about it online, I was like, as a drug dealer, I want my customers to come back to me. That's how I'm making my money. That's how I get rich. Like Rick Ross, you know what I mean? It's bad business for me to kill my customer base off of one try. Understand what I'm saying? So if fentanyl literally kills you right there, how does that make any business sense for the drug dealer? And how does that make sense for the person that's using? Because it's not giving you a high. It's going to give you a high, all right. High where you going to see St. Michael. you going to run right up at the pearly gates. That's the type of high you're going to get taking, a fentanyl-laced drug. So I don't know, when you see this on TV, they're talking about they're doing busts and they're capturing serious weight of fentanyl pills and fentanyl dust and all that, the powder. I'm like, but if you're telling me on the other hand, all it takes is a pinch, not even pinch, it's literally sits on your fingernail and that can kill you, then what's the purpose of fentanyl? You know what the purpose of fentanyl is to kill you. It is not supposed to give you a high. It is supposed to kill you. Do you hear me what I'm saying, folks out there? There's no high to fentanyl. It's straight death. What does that sound like to you? If someone is putting out a drug that there's no business upside to, and it's straight death, what does that mean? They are trying to wipe you off the earth. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm looking at it and they're literally showing people how much of this drug takes to just arrest, like have a cardiac arrest, just knock you out, put you out of your misery, done, off, cold body, dead. And I'm like, what? That's it? It's not supposed to get you high. It's supposed to kill you. And if that's the case, the objective is to wipe you off the planet. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, they want to take off marijuana off the Schedule 1 so it's not seen as or set up to be as dangerous as heroin or fentanyl. And he's calling on all state governors to actually do the same. So this is the thing. I was reading a Vox article because of course, you don't want to just take everything face value. You actually want to read up on actually, okay, for those that have the time, there's always something to it. When they talk about they're going to do something, there's always someone there that's going to do the background. So this Vox article says, this Vox article states that low-level marijuana is a small percentage of actual arrests. They're saying this legislation, this creed or whatever you want to call it, that Biden's doing it, is only going to free up to 6,500 people convicted of simple possession between 92 and 2021. And they're saying most simple possessions occur under state and local law. Remember, he said he is going to do it under federal law. But this simple possession would only be something that's going to be controlled under state and local law. Now, he did say he wants governors to actually do the same as well, but I'll get to that in a second. According to the ACLU, they're saying there are about 8.2 million people that have been arrested between 2001 and 2010. What is 6,500 people across 8.2 million arrests? That's nothing. You're barely moving the needle. The federal government, they also said is wants to step in. Excuse me. They're saying the federal government only steps in if it's a conspiracy of 2 or more people who violate federal drug law for those that are arrested under that federal drug law. And they said the U.S. Sentencing Commission says only 92 people were sentenced on federal drug possession charges in 2017 out of the 20,000 drug convictions. And that's under the federal law. In another article, it was by the Huffington Post, and here is what I was saying as far as him reaching out to governors. Governor Greg Abbott, I remember, out of Texas, states that he's not pardoning anyone. He said the only time where the governor is allowed to pardon individuals, are those who have been through the Texas of pardons and parole systems. Other than that, he's not pardoning a single soul. So how effective can this statement be made by Biden as far as trying to fix the issues of people that have been arrested under marijuana possession? So I'm saying that folks got to read between the lines when these politicians talk. And they have to be aware of how these laws are separated on the federal level and on the state level. Because he said it, I was like, And again, I saw it on TikTok where someone was praising, oh my God, this is what Biden's really doing. And it's when you just slow down, you actually go through, you read up on it. Again, of course, you would refer to the experts, the people that are being paid to really go through this line by line, that you know that it's really not going to be that much of an effect on all those people, the millions that have been arrested. Now, it's great for him to get it off the Schedule 1. Don't just focus on simple possession, but any possession of marijuana, because if you have businesses that are making millions of dollars in all the states that have made marijuana legal, then what are we talking about simple possession? Let's just possession in general. But you know what you're doing here? You're dealing with money. the prison industrial complex is a money-making business. So all that is just fake theatrics to me. So folks, just read between the lines and read up on what these politicians tell you. All right, just to lighten it up a little bit, I saw Wolf by Night by Marvel, man. That was cool. It was on a Disney Plus channel. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was super dope. The black and white feel, the whole thing, to see Man Thing. Laurel Donnelly, that actually the actress that plays Elsa Bloodstone. It was Gail Garcia Bernal that plays Jack Russell, the Wolf by Night. Harriet Harris. She actually was an actress who played on Frasier. Her character was named Verusa. She was actually running the shindig of all these beast killers. So I really liked it. I really appreciated what they did in introducing these characters, and really not just introducing these characters and taking another look at Marvel and the dark. I don't even know what Marvel called Marvel Dark or whatever. I don't know. No, that's DC, the DC Dark. So I don't know what is going to be the name of the horror division of Marvel, but Wolf by Night is definitely going to be something that's going to spin off in a whole nother direction, something fresh stories, something that's been in Marvel for decades. Marvel touched the ground, touched a little bit into the horror realm. So Marvel did Marvel Zombies. That was a comic series for a little bit. Morbius, even though that was trash, that was terrible. Ghost Rider, everybody knows Ghost Rider. That's kind of like similar character within this universe. You have Marvel Zombies. We saw a little bit of that in the cartoon on Disney Plus. I forgot the name of it. You know what I'm talking about. Looking at other ways how these characters, I forgot the name of it. Man, I'm gonna have to look for it. Marvel cartoon Disney Plus. I can't remember it, folks. Plus. What is it? Not that. What is it? What is it here? Man, it was you know what I'm talking about. I am not gonna move off of this until What If. There you go, What If. So just like how you saw the zombies in that cartoon, What If, or the animated series on What If on Disney Plus, the same thing as Multiverse of Madness with, of course, Doctor Strange. So that was showing a little bit of the zombie thing with your superheroes. I'm also looking forward to the Rise of the Midnight Sun. Of course, that was a crew kind of like Avengers, but more so the characters dealing in this horror universe. It was Ghost Rider, it was Blade, it was Doctor Strange, Morbius, the living vampire, also Constantine. As you know, Keanu Reeves is reprising his role as Constantine. I'm sure it's going to be a little soft reboot. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really geeked on how this is really going to turn out. So check out Wolf by Night. It's not super scary, folks. Don't worry about it. But it's definitely something that I'm going to be interested in as time goes on in the years to come. Some other upcoming movies that I'm looking forward to. Of course, everybody knows Black Adam is around the corner. I didn't get tickets yet. I'm going to get the tickets. Black Panther, I'm going to go see. The Flash, minus Ezra Miller, not feeling your mans, but the studio's gonna make those decisions. They actually called him back to do some reshoots, simple scenes, but he's not gonna be Flash anymore. All right, they just want to put this movie out. They dumped a whole lot of money into this, but he's not gonna be the Flash in the future Flashes or future DC. And Ezra Miller just put the nail in the coffin for his character. All right, I'm looking forward to Avatar. They say they're gonna redo Avatar. It was never done right. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it gets the right director and the right writers. Aquaman, that's a given. Don't care about Shazam. Really, Black Adam, I'm gonna keep it real. The way The Rock is going with Black Adam right now, and as we hear that Superman Henry Cavill is in Black Adam, I don't know if he's gonna be in the movie or in the end credit scene. He basically just breathed new life into the Zack Snyder universe. Whether it's going to be directed by Zack Snyder or not, I just can't see him battling in the way I'm really behind The Rock. I really hope Black Adam does well. If it does, I just can't see him battling Shazam. I know that's his arch nemesis, Shazam, Black Adams, but you know what I mean? I just don't see it because I just see what's his name getting his ass whooped from Shazam. I'm sorry. It's two different words. Like, I'm sorry. I don't see it. Looking forward to John Wick. Looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man Quantumania. I'm looking forward to, and I don't know why they haven't released the trailer yet for Ant-Man. I keep on seeing the fans leaked footage of some of the trailer. I'm like, just release the damn trailer. Oh my God, I want to see this joint. Indiana Jones 5. Shout out to so my man plays Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford. Shout out to Harrison Ford. In his 80 plus years of life, he's still going at it. He's going to be last Indiana Jones. Looking forward to that. I said that before on previous show. Joker 2 with Harley Quinn, man. I'm looking forward to Lady Gaga. Yo, she deserves this role. She's from Long Island. It's no fake accent. She's going to just be herself, bring out that Long Island accent that Harley Quinn got. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see how that plays out. Star Trek 4. I'm looking forward to the cast. Star Trek 4 cast, not that one. Who does the new Star Trek? Chris Pine. Star Trek cast. I like Chris Pine as James T. Kirk. Zachary Quinto, Simon Pegg as Scotty, Anton Yelchin as oh man, Anton Yelchin that plays Pavel Chekhov. He died in a freak accident, crazy, and man, R.I.P. Carl Urban as Leonard Nimoy. You got Zoe Saldana as Uhuru. And John Cho as Hikaru Sulu, and of course Zachary Quinto plays Spock. You know, I've always loved the Star Trek. I've been a Star Trek fan since the 60s. That came out late night when I was watching it as a kid. The one with Chris Pine, I loved the way it's shot. I love the actors, the way they came off. Beautiful, I think is right. Casted beautifully, no problems. The only problem I have with today's Star Trek is the writing. The writing fucking sucks. And it got progressively worse after the debut of the today's Star Trek from the first one. It got bad. I'm like, who are they getting? They don't respect it's like they don't respect the Star Trek story, man. What Gene Roddenberry did. Because if you loved and you had your heart out for Star Trek, you would have the proper writers put together a dope story and to go above and beyond all the other releases that came before. But the writing is so subpar, man. It's stupid. I don't know. It's nepotism. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Friends trying to hook up friends. Trash. They need to, if they're going to do the Star Trek 4, they got to really take this man seriously. Wednesday movie. Everybody knows Wednesday from let me see here. Wednesday, a movie, from the Addams Family. Sorry, see, that's why I be typing right quick, because I don't really remember things. So Wednesday from the Addams Family. Everybody knows a daughter from the Addams Family. She's having her own spinoff, and you be like, yo, Nova, what's the big deal? It's Wednesday. I think it's actually gonna be whack, right? You're saying that to me. Guess who's directing this joint? Tim motherfucking Burton. You gotta be kidding me. When I found out that Tim Burton was directing this, I'm like, nah, this dude is gonna do some real sick business. You know, if anybody doesn't know Tim Burton did the Batmans, all right, with Michael Keaton. You know, if your favorite Batman is Michael Keaton, you got to give it up for Tim Burton, because he did that joint until they kicked him off. They thought it was too dark. It was like, no, we got to sell this to the kids. Tim Burton was like, fuck that. I got to make my masterpiece. Tim Burton did a lot of movies to see Tim Burton. So he did the Batman, he did Edward Scissorhands, he did Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd was all right. It was cool. Sweeney Todd was cool. but it wasn't as good as Edward Scissorhands. He did a bunch of joints. Like, you got to give it up for Tim Burton. His eye is crazy. He knows how to tell a really creepy story. I give it up to Tim Burton, man. My man is. I'm trying to get to his IMDb, and I can't give me the list of his movies, man. Can't give me the list of his movies, man. Of course, Beetlejuice. Pfft, what classic! James and the Giant Peach, Mars Attacks. What else did he do? I don't know, Ed Wood, Cabin Boy, I'm not sure. The Nightmare Before Christmas, great animated movie that was kind of like claymation. Yeah, he did, tons. I loved the most of his joints. I don't even know he's executive produced that one joint. Yeah, man. So he was, oh my God, he even direct, my bad. So he produced Frankenweenie, he produced it for Linkin Park. Let's go to the director's credits. Let's go to the director's credits. Producer credits. Okay. Director's credits. All right. So he directed. Let's go all the way down. Hansel and Gretel TV movie. No, Frankenweenie. Okay. So he directed Frankenweenie. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Look at that. Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Ed Wood. I wasn't too crazy about that. Mars Attacks, classic. Real campy, cheesy, kind of play on the 1960s horror. Aliens. He did Sleepy Hollow, dope. Planet of the Apes. He did Planet of the Apes. Oh, word. I didn't like that. That was so trash. I didn't even know. I forgot he directed that. That was so trash. Planet of the Apes with your man. What's his goddamn name? Let's go to the directors. Planet of the Apes. Directed by, what's it? Mark Wahlberg. Oh my God, that was so trash. It was so trash, that Planet of the Apes. What else did my man do? Let's go back to directors. He did Dumbo. I never watched Dumbo. I couldn't even get my kid to watch Dumbo. So I don't know. It could have been good. And of course, he's doing Beetlejuice 2, which is super dope. Yeah, man. So he did a lot. So to hear that he's doing Wednesday, I saw the trailer. It's fantastic. I'm with it all the way. Yeah, man. So all right. So before I get out of here, the last story here. It's all about Binance. Let me bring up this stupid article. So Binance is in trouble again, and everybody knows it's in the crypto world. Binance is having an issue. One of their blockchains was hacked, unfortunately. So our Binance Link blockchain has been hacked. The hacker stole $500 million. So the Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao said that the tokens were stolen from the blockchain bridge, quote unquote. It's used. The blockchain bridge is used to transfer cryptocurrency between applications, and yeah, it is amazing how. How these hackers are breaking into this. I mean, it's important. Cybersecurity is super important, man. Because the only way that you can build trust and support for the Web3 market, for the Web3 community, is buttoning up all of these hacks that are happening, that these folks are stealing millions, hundreds of millions of dollars just by a few keystrokes. And it's saying that this last line said blockchain bridges are tools used. Criminals have increasingly targeted these blockchain bridges. They're saying with some with $2 billion stolen in 13 different hacks, mostly in this year. Man, it's terrible. I seriously want all the founders in these Web3 companies, and not to say that they're not, they don't have cybersecurity as top priority, but you can just continue to have these hackers creating these programs or these hacks and figuring out how to crack the code and stealing hundreds of millions of dollars, because it doesn't do well for those that are active in the Web3 market, nor for founders or investors that want to continue on. It's a beautiful technology. The more I read, the more I do my research, and I'm drawing up my white paper as I speak, the more I see the potential and the crazy applications that can be used to free a human society, if we so wish to do that. It's not going to happen on its own. It has to be done in a concerted, in a clear, concerted way. Let me see if I can find anything else, any other important things with cybersecurity. Yeah, I'll do that later. See if I can talk about that later. But in a clear, concerted way, where we can figure out how we can button up these holes in these Web3 applications and these platforms, because it does no good for everyone in that wants to see it flourish and blossom in the way that we want to see it. So, man, it's terrible. Oh man, yeah. To read that news it takes a win at your tail sometimes, that you got to push on. There's so many people that do it for shits and giggles, that do it to prove that they're the best hacker, or sometimes it could be from someone that really don't want to see Web3 take off, and they learn the technology not to forward it, but to actually destroy it before our very eyes. So we have to protect this thing, and like a little child, man. We have to protect this thing and allow it to grow, and to use it in ways where it could really benefit humanity. And we have to figure out, and I know we can do it without a doubt. I know we can fix this issue, because the same way where cars were being basically hijacked back in the 80s and the 70s, and now and today, it's like it's next to impossible to steal a car. That's why you see, when people rob cars, they take out the catalytic converter in trucks or whatever. But as far as hijacking cars for parts, that doesn't exist anymore. You got low jack, you got all types of technology that's built into the cars. That's basically it's no good for carjackers to get into, man. It's not worth it. There's no value in it. There's more loss in trying to hijack a car than how it used to be. So I'm sure that the technology Web3 is going to be the same way, as people just have to be focused and determined to build up the proper walls in the code to keep these hackers from breaking into these platforms. So it's unfortunate. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for listening to me and Babylon, and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Try to be as what's my words, my ending words? Try to be as purposeful as possible, man. We only got one life. We have the blessing of life every day when we wake up in the morning and the sun shines. Don't waste this beautiful gift that we have called life. If you really want to do something that you feel that people are knocking you down and saying you can't do it or it's impossible, shut them out. Only get around people. Only befriend folks that want to see you come up. Any other person is a waste of your time. So stay focused. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to take a couple of different downs. But when you have that up and it pops and it clicks and it comes off and shoots off like a rocket, all that pain that you went through, oh man, that orange juice tastes that much sweeter. That win tastes that much sweeter. So stay focused, stay on it. Much love to all of you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com, for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.